she got a tattoo, a small letter right behind her ear. "It's for you," she said. "It's the first letter of your name." I believed her for 8 months. Then, one rainy night, I met the man whose name actually started with that letter, and my whole world cracked open. But here's the part I didn't know yet. That letter had a history way longer than 8 months, and by the end of this story, karma isn't going to feel like a big enough word for what happened. Stick with me. Hit follow now, because where this goes, you will not see coming. Let me take you back, because you need to understand how deep this went before I tell you how it fell apart. I met Brynlee 2.5 years ago, coffee shop near my job site, covered in drywall dust, and she was laughing at something on her phone. I said something dumb, she rolled her eyes, and kept talking to me anyway. Missed half my shift over it. My foreman, Cass, gave me hell for that one, but worth it. We didn't rush anything. 6 months before official, another year before we moved in together. She used to leave little notes in my lunch bag. "You got this, dust monster," because she thought it was funny I came home covered in drywall powder every night. I kept every one. Sunday mornings were hers, eggs and coffee and arguing over playlists. I should mention, I'd met Wesley once before, at Brynlee's work holiday party, months earlier. Big handshake, bigger opinions, always steering the conversation back to himself. Confident in that way that's one bad night from arrogant. Didn't think about him again for months, actually. Forgot his name for a while, if I'm honest. Then, one Tuesday, she came home with a bandage behind her ear, a tattoo, a single letter. I asked what it was for. She smiled and said, "It's you, Dalton, a stylized D. The artist made it fancy." Looked like a W to me, but I'm no art guy and she seemed so happy, so I let it go. I was proud of a lie. That still gets me. Her phone started living face down. A name kept showing up. Wesley from accounts. He's actually hilarious. Late nights, a perfume I didn't recognize, blamed on an office diffuser. I believed her. I wanted to. One night at dinner, she smiled at a text the way she used to smile at me. Caught me noticing. Put it away fast. I told myself I was imagining it. I brought it up to Cass over beers, almost ashamed to say it out loud. He didn't laugh it off, just looked at me and said, "Man, check the signs before you check yourself into denial." I brushed him off, told him he didn't know her like I did. That's the exact sentence people say right before everything falls apart. Then came the rainy night. Picking up dry cleaning near her office, I saw her car outside a bar I didn't recognize. Stood there in the rain a second, debating whether to just go home. Something in me needed to know. I walked in. There she was, laughing, hand on Wesley's forearm like it belonged there. Same guy from the holiday party. He brushed the hair back from her ear and said, "Still can't believe you got my letter." His letter. Behind his own ear, a tattoo, the letter B. My stomach dropped through the floor. I didn't explode, just stood there while every piece clicked. The face-down phone, the perfume, the stylized D that was clearly a W. A second relationship hiding in plain sight. I walked over, calm, almost too calm. Brynlee's face drained the second she saw me. I repeated his own words back to her. "Still can't believe you got my letter." "Dalton, it's not what it looks like." "It's exactly what it looks like. You just didn't think I'd ever be standing in the room to see it." Wesley leaned back, unbothered, like this was a minor scheduling conflict instead of a 2-year relationship collapsing in front of him. "Hey man, don't make this weird," he said, actually smiling, like I was the inconvenience. I didn't even look at him again. "I hope it was worth 8 months of lying to my face," I told her, and walked out. I went to my sister Odalis's place that night. She made coffee, didn't ask questions, just listened. At some point, I found myself telling her about the lunch notes, dust monster, how I still had every single one in a drawer. Saying it out loud, sitting in her kitchen at midnight, was the first time it actually felt real, that the version of Brynlee who wrote those notes and the version standing in that bar were the same person. Then, Dalton said the thing that hurt almost as much as the betrayal itself. "Dalton, I kind of suspected something a few weeks ago at your birthday dinner. I didn't want to hurt you over a maybe." Everyone could see it but me. Around 3 a.m., staring at her ceiling, I stopped grieving and started thinking clearly. I wasn't going to beg. Real revenge isn't loud, it's earned, piece by piece, the same slow way the betrayal was built. Cass offered to help, but even he hesitated. "You sure you want to go digging? Sometimes it's easier not to know the rest." I told him I was past easier. So I sat down at Dalton's kitchen table with my laptop and started going through old shared accounts, mostly out of habit more than any real plan. That's when I found it. A budgeting app Brynlee and I hadn't touched since we first split rent years ago, still active, still syncing quietly in the background. Wesley had helped fix her laptop a few weeks earlier, and somewhere in that process, the sync must have turned back on without either of us noticing. There was a charge, a hotel, downtown. I just sat there looking at it for a second, not even reading the number yet, just the word hotel sitting on the screen. Then I pulled up our old shared photo album, still linked to the same calendar, out of laziness more than anything, and scrolled back to that date. My hands were actually shaking a little by the time I found it. Same weekend, same exact dates as her work retreat upstate. Not close, exact. I sat there a long time after that, laptop open, kitchen gone quiet, just staring at two dates that matched perfectly. Then I found the detail that changed everything. Wesley was engaged to a woman named Priya, someone with no idea any of this was happening. I thought about her for a long moment. Some stranger going to sleep that night, still planning a wedding, still trusting a man who didn't deserve it. I couldn't just walk away and leave her in it. I went back to the apartment one last time for my things. "Dalton, please," Brynlee said, blocking the doorway almost. "It just happened at first, and I didn't know how to stop it. But remember our anniversary trip? The one where you said you'd never felt more like yourself with anyone? That was real. I never stopped meaning that, even while all this was happening. Doesn't that count for something?" "It counts for nothing, because you're using the realest thing we had to excuse the fakest thing you did. You built a whole second relationship behind my back, tattooed the proof onto your own skin, and lied to my face about what it meant for 8 months, every single day." She opened her mouth again. I shook my head. "I hope the letter was worth it." I picked up my bag and left. That night, I sent one message, not to Brynlee, to Priya. Respectful, not cruel. The photo, the hotel charge, a short explanation. "You deserve to know what I found out. I'm sorry." She wrote back within the hour, just one line. "Thank you. This hurts, but I'd rather know now than after the wedding." I put the phone down after that. Didn't check it again for 2 days. When I did, Kaz had already heard through mutual friends. Priya had confronted Wesley and ended the engagement that same night. Word got around fast, the way it does. And within a few weeks, the people backing Wesley's business quietly started pulling away too. Nothing dramatic, just doors closing one at a time until there weren't many left open. Kaz told me Wesley's last message to Priya wasn't angry, just one sentence. "You didn't have to ruin everything." Not sorry, not ashamed, just upset about what he'd lost. At Brynlee's office, Wesley tried to blame her publicly, backfired instantly. People stopped inviting her to lunch. 2 weeks later, she resigned quietly. No announcement, just gone. I thought that was the end of it, But about a month later, I ran into the tattoo artist by accident. Small world. He did work for a guy on my crew. Brynlee's name came up, and I asked, careful, if he remembered doing that piece behind her ear. He said he did, still had his old booking screen open for another client, scrolled back out of habit. And my stomach dropped a second time. The date wasn't from a year and a half ago, like she told me. Almost 4 years ago, long before she and I ever met. It was never about Wesley, never about me. It was for a guy from her college years, someone she'd never once mentioned in 2.5 years. When that ended, she never removed it, just kept it hidden. When Wesley came along with a name that conveniently matched, she didn't need a new tattoo, just a new lie for the old one. For a second, the anger came back sharper than it had in weeks, because none of it had ever really been about me. I was just the latest name that happened to fit. But it faded fast, because underneath it, I understood something else. This wasn't one betrayal. It was a pattern that started long before I showed up, and would have kept going long after if the truth finally caught up to her. For the first time, I didn't feel angry. I felt lucky. Lucky that mine was the version where it caught up to her at all. It's been almost a year now. I've got my own place. Kaz still gives me hell at work, same as always. A few months ago, I found the drawer with all her old lunch notes still in it, and instead of it wrecking me the way I expected, I just threw them out. Not angrily, just done. Sunday mornings are mine again. My own coffee, my own playlist. Nobody arguing with me about it. She thought a letter on her skin could hide the truth. Turns out, truth doesn't stay hidden. It just waits for the right light to hit it. If you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to subscribe for another one next week.